Governor Newsom is promising to challenge President Trump's new executive order on mail-in voting.
President Trump signed an executive order yesterday limiting mail-in voting, claiming it leads to fraud. Now, this is a big issue here in California, where 80% of voters voted by mail in the last general election. The order requires Homeland Security officials to create a list of U.S. citizens eligible to vote in each state using data from the Social Security Administration. Voters would then have to obtain barcodes in order to mail in ballots.
The cheating on mail-in voting is legendary. It's horrible what's going on. And it's very clearly covered, very, very clearly. So I think this will help a lot with elections. And the only people that don't want to do voter ID are people that cheat. There's no other reason for it.
President Trump's claims about large-scale cheating in elections have never been proven, though a 2025 report by the Brookings Institution found that mail-in ballot voting fraud did occur in about 4 cases out of every 10 million mail-in ballots.
Joining us now is constitutional law expert Robert McWhirter. Welcome in. This executive order calls for a federal list of eligible voters compiled by data from agencies like Homeland Security and Social Security. So we're wondering, does the president have that legal authority to actually do that?
No, he really doesn't. The Constitution is very clear. In Article 1, Section 4, Clause 1 of the Constitution, it says that the time, place, and manner of elections will be determined by states. And Congress may, from time to time, pass a law that affects that. But it's really the states. Congress could pass a law, but nowhere in the entire Constitution does it say anything about a president with an executive order changing the time, place, and manner of voting. So it's pretty clear, and it's a pretty simple question.
Robert, no surprise, states like California are already calling this unconstitutional. You're the expert. Tell us, is it?
Yeah, I think it's unconstitutional. It's also incredibly impractical. You know, the statistic you just gave, which I believe is correct, out of 10 million votes, there were 4. That's a very expensive proposition to affect 4 illegal votes, which is statistically insignificant. And you know, you have to go back to what the intent of the framers were. You can't have the election run. The president is the only person that all Americans can vote on. Every other person in the government is not voted on by all Americans. So the framers wanted to make sure that that one person doesn't have control of the very elections, the process that puts him in office. They didn't want to create a dictatorship. You can't trust any president, Democrat, Republican, independent, whatever, to be in charge of the mechanism that puts him in power. That's why presidents don't have that power under the Constitution. And that was the intent of the framers of our Constitution, is to protect us all from that. And Donald Trump doesn't seem to care about that.
So, Robert, if mail-in ballots are limited to people on this national list, how realistic is implementing that logistically? How does this work? How many eligible voters could actually fall through the cracks here?
Well, I think it's utterly impossible. And the mail-in ballots has been a great benefit, as Donald Trump himself demonstrated when he cast a mail-in ballot just recently. And his excuse was, well, he can do it because he's the president. Well, that just doesn't ring true at all. It is a logistical nightmare to all of a sudden create an entire federal bureaucracy and mechanism to give people voter numbers. And how are they going to do that? I mean, I couldn't find my birth certificate if I needed to. It would take me a long time. I happen to have a passport, but a lot of Americans don't have passports. If you want to require people to get passports, you know, it costs, what, $165 to get a passport. You have to waive that fee because the 24th Amendment says you can't have a poll tax, which means you can't have any financial impediment. So if they do that, I would suggest go in and get your free passport, because they've got to do that. But the practicalities and the expense of the American taxpayer for what is really a non-problem is an absurd policy and impossible to implement.
So if this executive order comes to fruition, 2 questions here for you. First, who would control this database? And secondly, what are the risks when it comes to privacy and misuse?
Well, the first question is, I'm not sure anybody knows who would control it. I presume it will be somebody in the executive branch. Is it directly under the office of the president, which leads to the very problem we talked about? Is it somebody in Homeland Security? Do you give some agency? Does the president create a new agency? Which the president can't do that either. Congress has to create an agency. The potential then for fraud, because you've now given the president the power to control the mechanism by which he is selected. And you can see any number of countries all across the world, from Russia to Venezuela, where the president has gone in and just fraudulently gave himself or herself the election because they control the mechanism. So I don't think any of the logistics have been worked out. Frankly, this is all performative. And I think Donald Trump is making a big performance as he is trying to push the SAVE Act. You know, this is all about one thing, and that is perpetuating the lie that he won in 2020 and that somehow Hillary Clinton didn't get the popular vote in 2016 when he won by the Electoral College. So I see no other purpose for this, because even if it goes through and even if the CARE Act passes, how is it going to work? How are they going to do it?
Well, as always, we certainly appreciate your expertise on all things constitutional law. Robert McWhirter, thank you so much for joining us.
My great pleasure.